everything go?
It's been great. You know, a wonderful year. Things have been okay. At least this is the second time I'm here this year, so hopefully we can connect with the audience and let them know the do's and the don'ts, what to do legally and what not to do. It's a fantastic show coming up as well, so I hope to be here and get the voice heard and the message across too. So that's it.
The message will definitely be well heard today. Now, as a media personality, there are things that we sit on TV and we say, but there are implications to it. A typical example, recent times, I think 2 weeks ago, there's a man who sat on radio and spoke about the fact that he had had a sexual affair with a 14-year-old, and now he's been arrested by the police. What are some of the things that as a media personnel, you are not supposed to say out on TV or on radio?
Okay, thank you so much. You see, it's easy to be carried away when you are behind the set, when the cameras are rolling and you have an audience and they are all getting excited and you want to keep talking and keep talking. But what you say or do not say can be the difference between where you sleep tonight and then where you sleep the following morning. Because you can put a phrase across that can implicate you in either an ongoing investigation or cause one to be opened up because of what you have said. You see, there are some comments that either media personalities or guests or hosts on shows have said that have even made it very difficult for them to get representation by lawyers because there's something called admission. And in Ghanaian law, under the evidence decree, or the Evidence Act now, if you would want, once you have made certain admissions to a crime, then even in court, once you have admitted to an offense, the judge goes straight to conviction and sentencing.
Can't you actually come up and say that, oh, you were acting as a media personality, you were joking, you were having a show, and so you had to make the show a show?
Well, two things. It depends on the prosecutor handling the case and the circumstances under which what you said was said. And, you know, comparing what you have said with what the investigation ongoing is. So, for example, the gentleman that you've had two situations on your set. One, which is the one you just mentioned, and then the chef incident. So there's been admissions made on set. And so if a prosecutor wants to go ahead and take them on with it, it's enough to have those confessions, you know, used as evidence against them in court. And once you've admitted and you've confessed, nobody forced you to do that. And so there are rules that the prosecutors will also follow. And once they follow those rules, you will be in trouble.
Is there no protection act for presenters with regards to what they say?
So what you say does not only put you alone in trouble, but may or may not put your institution that you work for also in trouble. That's why sometimes you would hear institutions, media houses who say that is the view of the guest and it doesn't represent what we as an institution, you know, hold and write. Our editorial policies do not reflect what they are trying to say. And so if you are at work and you are representing an institution, it is deemed that what you're saying is a reflection of what the editorial policies of the institution is. And so it can have an implication on both you and the institution. Now, let me say that what you say on TV, on radio, even on the social media, these days people take things for granted.
Yeah.
And these days there is the Ghana cards and all of that that makes tracing your identities much easier than you think. Even your SIM cards, the IMEIs, make it quite easier for you to be traced than you think. The comments we make as media personalities, as hosts and guests, when we sit behind the cameras, when we are in the dark behind our computers and our phones on social media thinking that nobody can see us, opens us up to so many things. One, to civil actions, and then to criminal actions. Within the course of the year or sometime last year, we've seen a certain gentleman being prosecuted for treason charges, for inciting people, against the state.
This incitement, what is it that you say that actually is an incitement to the people?
So it depends on...
Because somebody would say, oh, economy is not good. When you go out there and you're voting, blah, 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 blah. Could that be an incitement? If
you're saying the economy is not good, and so when you go out and then you vote, make sure that you're voting based on what you feel in your pocket. As far as I'm concerned, that does not amount to any incitement.
Okay.
You understand? But the question is, the comments you're putting across, are they comments that can, whip up interest enough to cause damage to the democracy that we have, to cause a government or an institution to be overthrown? Are those comments or those charged statements, inflammatory statements, enough to cause somebody to be injured? So you can be the person that directs the mind of the mob.
Okay.
And so by your statement, if you're directing the mind of the mob, then you can also be held liable for what the mob does.
Right. Anybody has a question? Yes, you do. Please go ahead.
So please, concerning this particular video, I was in a studio with a friend when we saw the video. So he made a statement that in few hours' time, this guy would be arrested. But then I argued that they can't make an arrest if there's no evidence, because he is saying he has done it, but there is no evidence for him to be arrested. But a few hours' time, he was arrested. So I want to ask if the police can make an arrest without any evidence.
You don't need evidence to make an arrest. You need evidence to prosecute. So on the reasonable suspicion that a crime has been committed, the police can go ahead and then cause an arrest.
Okay. Anybody else? Yeah. Okay. So we'll take our final question then.
Please, with the look of things, we look at our social media of late and things that people are putting out there. Please, as a legal practitioner, what are the measures that you've put in place or the country have put in place to fight against that? Because it's misrepresenting our country out there. So that's my question.
Okay. That's a tough one to answer, because the social media companies, you would realize that Facebook or Meta and the rest are putting in place policies so that when you put comments there that are injurious to other people, when you put images there that are nude and pornographic and stuff like that, you can report and then you have them taken down. Because you see, what you put out there potentially has what we call reputational damage to people. And you can get sued for reputational damage. It's what we call defamation. Whether it's in writing or orally, we've had to deal with quite a number of it in our courts, and then I've had to personally represent people in that sphere. And so we must be very guarded in what we say. We must ensure that as we put across our thoughts, our ideas, we must ensure that we do not do that to injure other people's reputation, because reputation is hard-earned. And reputation in this instance can be injured either, through what you have said, and then the person has suffered some form of harm or damage over it, or where in a person's culture, certain comments, are considered taboos and things of the sort. When you pass them, whether they have been personally injured or not, they will have a cause of action against you, and then they can sue you for pretty much all that you're making online, and then the fact that you think that nobody can see you. These are things that they can hold you responsible for as well.
Right. Sena, thank you so much for being here. We are very grateful. We are all happy, right? Yeah. And we are very satisfied with what Sena has said. So a big round of applause. Sena, thank you so much. And of course, we'll have you again right here on Changes. Sena is our lawyer, Sena Hotor, Esquire. Thank you once again.
Thank you, Rosalie.
Right.